Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Men to Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, our mental health, physical health, and of course, our emotional health. I definitely appreciate you for checking me out. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to continue to better educate themselves, research and tools and things like that. So I definitely appreciate all my fellow clinicians, therapists who got this in their lobbies doing these exercises and interventions within sessions. I definitely appreciate you. Salute to all the parents out there who got this book for their teenage sons. You can see how much he's grown. I definitely appreciate reading your feedback and getting pictures and, different scripts that you guys are sending. And also salute to those spouses, those wives out there who got this tool and book for their partner and who's been doing exercises over dinner and date night. I definitely like that feedback as well. So if you want a copy of the book, definitely go to Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold. And of course, my website, mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal.com. I definitely appreciate you. So if you're new here, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for checking me out. I definitely appreciate it. I don't take my platform for granted. We are monetized now. Thank you for everybody who's been sharing content within groups or individually or just organizations, period. I definitely appreciate you. So more information will continue to come, not only from me as an individual, but I'll be having a collective of different people coming to share their experience, their thoughts, their progress, their knowledge with you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. And the guest that I got coming up now is...
So I'm Marcus Smith II, former 6-year NFL veteran, now life coach, mentor, philanthropist, mental health advocate. And right now I own a gym. It's called A&M Sports and Fitness. And we train athletes, not only physically, but mentally too as well. I do life coaching with most of the athletes. And that's what I pretty much have going on right now, and I'm actually speaking too.
Good brother. Listen, I just want you to know I'm proud of you, man, just for everything that you got going on, with the family, building the next generation of athletes. That's definitely important, not just from the mental health side, but the physical health side and that coaching piece, because a lot of people, specifically with athletes, they don't get that financial literacy piece, so they go broke out the. So I'm glad you're able to step in and do that. So speaking of coaching, what was the best team that you played for when you was a pro?
Man, the best experience and team I played for was Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll I know everybody like raves about him, but he truly is like a great coach. And I remember what like put me over the edge was like when we was going through the time where everybody was taking a knee, right? Kaepernick was taking a knee. It was like this huge thing in the NFL, and we had a meeting before we played the Tennessee Titans. And I can remember in that meeting, like, he just wanted to know how we felt. Like, he wanted us to get it all out on the table, and we just talk about how we felt. And he really wanted to be in our shoes. You could feel that, he didn't like the police brutality, and he wanted to, help and do something about it. So that was the best team I played for.
Nice. So for the people that don't know, how many other NFL teams you played for?
So I got drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles, played with them 2014 through 2016, played with Seattle 2017, 2018, and then I finished my career with the Redskins in 2018 and 19.
Nice. So your time throughout the league, what would you say was, if you had to put a number on it, would you say that physical health was stressed more than mental health, or you think it was about even?
I think it was about even. Like, I didn't, in the communities we come from, we don't really talk about our mental as much. It's definitely more now, like it's bringing more to light, but I just feel like that I had some underlying issues that I didn't address. And as a college student, I was going through those things. But when you're younger, you can kind of like push through certain stuff. But as you get older, it gets kind of worse. So it just travels with you. So I think mostly it was really mental with me. I felt like when I finished, I could still play. I feel like I can still play right now. But, I was happy to walk away when I did because I could do the work that I'm doing now, do what my purpose would allow me to do.
No, that's awesome, man. So I guess you was that teammate who probably was experiencing different things. Do you feel that you received the support you need from like your other teammates and coaches? I know you just talked about Pete Carroll, but do you think the team received you well if you went to them and said, "Hey, I'm just not mentally here, or I'm going through XYZ"? Do you think they was receptive to it, or you think it was that, man, shake it off? You're a pro. You sound like a cheerleader type thing. Like how'd you? What was your experience?
Now, my experience, because I walked away in 2018, I walked away for a hot second, then I came back. But Seattle, I just happened to be in Seattle at the time where I was like, I was suicidal. I was ready to take my own life. It was during camp. I was just going through the same anxiety, depression I've been going through probably since I was about 9 years old, right? And so I was going through this each and every year, but I never really talked about it. And I had hit the fence, I had just signed a new contract, $2.7 million. So everything seemed like it was great on the outside, but I was still hurting on the inside. And so luckily I was with Seattle and I felt comfortable enough because the day before I had a conversation with Tyler Lockett about just mental health. And he was just telling me about how he deals with anxiety and stuff. And I had never really understood or knew anybody going through the same thing I was going through. So I just felt inclined the next day to go to the training staff and tell them like what I was about to do that morning. And I said, look, I was about to end my life. Like, I need to take some time away. And they was very receptive of me saying that. And they actually got me the help that I needed. They found me a therapist and they were behind me and they backed me the whole time. So I was kind of happy about that, but I couldn't say the same thing if I was in Philly or if I was in Washington, because it's a preconceived notion, or you don't really want to say anything because you don't want a coach to think that you're mentally weak and that you're not mentally tough enough to play the game. And once they feel like you're not confident in yourself, then they really feel like that they can't count on you. So that's what guys a lot of times deal with, because if they're trying to make the team, they don't want them to be able to say anything about their character or anything. So if they got a concussion or if they dealing with something, they're not going to say anything. They're just going to just push through it and just hope that, they get through it.
Listen, I definitely appreciate your vulnerability that you just shared just now. I mean, that takes a lot for you to be able to say that, like, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of men outside of the league that are in fear of revealing their true feelings, especially with suicide ideations, or even if they're just going through depression. So for you to, be open enough and vulnerable enough to say that, and especially to the audience, this is definitely going to help a lot of people, specifically those young athletes right now who are, playing AAU or trying to get to the next level.
Right.
Just hearing that you was a professional athlete, wasn't fulfilled, even though you just signed a big contract. You was on, playing in the league every Sunday on TV and all that, and you still had these same issues. So it's so relatable to hear you say that. And I'm glad you was able to not only be vulnerable, but just share your experience. So I'm glad you also was able to get the help that you need. So are you still in therapy? Are you still receiving that help?
Yeah, I still do therapy at least once a month just to keep my mind refreshed. And I think it's also therapeutic for me to be a life coach and be able to speak to others, because I can help them with their experience, but also tell my experience and help push them forward so they know that they're not alone. And every time I speak, like I'm talking to you right now and I'm feeling a lot better. Like you having this platform, I'm so happy that we actually got to talk because it's, long overdue. But every time I speak about it or when somebody asks me these questions, like I just feel so much better because I'm just getting it out in the atmosphere of what, I went through. So that's pretty much what helps me, especially when I talk to like younger kids and they're dealing with certain stuff. It's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, at this point, like you retired from the league, you're doing what you want to do, which is inspiring people, helping people stay physically fit as well as mentally fit. And I know you got children, man. So how's fatherhood going?
Man, it's going good. Actually, my daughter, she just turned 3 on October the 2nd. And then I have a son who will be 6 months here pretty soon. So I think fatherhood for me has taught me a lot. Me having a daughter first taught me a lot of patience, taught me how to be gentle because I think I was going to need that with my son and how I react with my son. And so I'm grateful that I had a daughter first and I'm able to be with them, as much as possible because I'm a family guy first. And I don't know if I would have the same outlook if I was still playing. I could be around my kids. They can come up to the gym anytime they want. I'm an entrepreneur. So it's pretty much, I get to see them all the time, man. That's what I really enjoy. And that's what I was kind of, worried about at the time where I left the game. My wife was pregnant. And, that was one of the things I was worried about, me being there with her when she has the baby. Cause that was my ultimate goal. That's something that I always wanted to do. And if she go into labor and I'm playing against the Arizona Cardinals, I would have been sick. You know what I mean? But it kind of happened. It happened the right way. I walked away from the game at that point in time. Came back in November. I was able to see my daughter born, and I was able to see her grow a little bit. Then I went back to play.
So I gotta ask this, man. You got a son. Are you gonna allow him to play this contact physical sport?
You know what? I get that question all the time, and my wife asks me too. And my response is always, I let him play quarterback. But I mean, I played quarterback pretty much my whole life until I got to college. That's probably why I haven't had as many concussions as other people because I didn't play defense as long as probably other people have. But I would definitely, if that's something he wants to do, I would let him know, about the game. I would teach him if it's defense, I would teach him the correct way to tackle. I would teach him the correct way to go about the game so you don't injure your head or you get these concussions. Sometimes, concussions, it's hard to stop those, but you can prevent it by the way you tackle and the way you play the game. So I'm kind of interested. I want to be able to teach him because I feel like he's gonna want to play just because like he's gonna be around it. So I kind of got to be ready to answer those questions too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. So being that you were willing to answer the questions for him, I mean, y'all gonna have that relationship because obviously he's your son, you're gonna grow up under your tutelage. But what would you say now to this parent that's listening, this AAU player that's listening, high school ball player that's listening, or either this college student that's listening? What advice would you give him about not only taking care of his physical health with the tackling or just playing ball, but mental health as well? Like, what advice would you give him?
You saying the actual player or the parent?
Yeah, both. Because my platform, man, I'm just fortunate enough that a lot of parents tune in, a lot of course, men tune in. So just if you can touch on it for both people.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the parents first. It's definitely important to let their kids be kids and let them choose what they're gonna choose, right? And if there's a desire for the parent, usually it can like override the child, and the child might get distasteful with the actual sport. But it's important for them to support them in whatever that they want to do or whatever endeavors that they want to do, because ultimately is their life. And by teaching them that now, when they get older, it's not, they can be pushed forward and do exactly what they have always wanted to do. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this for such and such, or I'm doing this for my brother. No, you want them to do it for them first, because you have to take care of self first. And then that goes into the mental health too as well. So as a youngin, I think it's important for your mental, if you're having a certain, because we all go through anxiety. I think anxiety is like the number one thing like us athletes go through. Like even before games, you might feel nerves, right? You might be a guy that throws up before the game. I was a guy that threw up before the game. I threw up before almost every game. Now I don't know if it was just nerves or what. I have a teammate who he missed 2 games because he was dealing with anxiety, because he was just dealing with the pressure of just going out there to perform. So I would tell any player, football player, AAU basketball player, baseball, whatever sport that you play, that mentally it's 80%. The rest is 20%. You got to have it up here first. And success is not a destination, it's a mindset. So within that, you know that you're already successful. Success is not a place that you have to go. It's not a place where you're trying to get. In your mind, you should already feel that you're successful. Successful is what you make it. You know what I mean? And I also would say true success is the trials and tribulations that you go through on a daily basis in order to get to your purpose. That's true success. And people don't really realize the struggles that you go through in order to obtain certain things, or in order to attain your purpose.
So when one is on their journey in the league to fulfill their purpose, whether that's get more yardage or get more tackles, or kick the winning field goal or whatever, do you think the mindset change? Like if they sustain an injury, like is it self-doubt coming in? Is it like worration because they probably don't get that bonus? Like what do you think, or what have you gone through if you did sustain an injury at some point in your career, whether college or professional?
So I got hurt pretty much every year at some point. The NFL it's like 100% injury rate. But I will say that it is, from my experience, self-doubt always creeps in, because you wonder if you're going to ever be the same again. You wonder if the team is going to have your back even though you're hurt, right? And I think that's the number one thing would be self-doubt, because when you get hurt, it's like you never really feel like you want to be out there. And now you're going on this roller coaster of trying to recover and get back. And that could be mentally draining, because ultimately you want to play. You want to be out there with your teammates. You love your teammates, but you can't. And so we have to learn how to practice positive self-talk and really talk ourselves through the day and take it one day at a time, because we can get all out of whack, and our thoughts can get, one negative thought can start, and then you'll be so far left, and you'll be trying to figure out like that, even that your positive thinking helps you recover. But if you're negative, like your body responds to how you think. And I think people don't really realize that.
No, that's a good answer. And it's wild. Like probably within the last 10 years or so, like within studies, whether it was on the physical health side or the mental health side, like they're realizing that the mind and body is connected. Your thoughts do control, like you said, how you respond to certain things and vice versa. Especially for African American men, right now the number one killer is heart disease, and you can get that from overstressing, being hyper vigilant, just so many different things. But at first they just thought it was all mental, but nah, that stress is going through your body and creating other issues. Um, So when you were in college, even as a professional athlete, I know you spoke of just now, not too long ago, that you wanted to be there for the birth of your daughter. Like, how did you find time to balance in college, like studying, practice, you know, hanging with your friends, like self care, all those things, and then of course when you went pro, like you traveling state to state to meet your games. Like, how'd you handle that being away from family and stuff like that?
Man, it was hard. It was definitely hard. I'll start with college first. I had to find ways to make sure I was mentally there because there was times I wanted to quit in college too because you know the college schedule, 5 o'clock workout, class at 8. You got class pretty much all day, and then you got practice at the end of the day, right? And it was hard. It was hard to juggle, but I had to find people, a circle of people that would be in my corner. And what I found was we had FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. His name was Chris Morgan, and I would always go to him, and he would always keep me level headed through that experience. So I would tell anybody who's in college, like find somebody you can confide into, or you can talk to kind of, keep you level headed, even when stuff is not going your way. Just find somebody that you can talk to because it's tough. Like people don't realize that being a college student and playing sports is tough. It's tough, and we all go through that. And when I was in the NFL, man, it would be sometimes where we would be gone for like 2 days straight. And when I was in Seattle, we would have to leave Friday and we would come back Sunday night. So FaceTime, that was like the best way that I could always keep, my what I used to do with my wife and just really talk to her, talk to my daughter, and be able to keep that relationship even when I was gone. So that's how I dealt with that.
Nah, I feel you. I was I was Army, so I did two deployments, one Iraq and one to Afghanistan, and FaceTime definitely helped me in those situations as well because I was able to see my daughter, grow up through
So you got
FaceTime.
deployed?
Yeah,
Wow.
twice, man. It was tough out there, man. I'm glad in college you had your homeboy Chris with the fellow athletes and stuff like that. That's dope. Substance use, like, did that ever occur to you, whether it was pills or because I know now a lot of athletes, well, a lot of people in general become addicted to, of course, pain pills because they sustain injuries and stuff like that. Like, have you ever observed a teammate or witnessed those things within any time period within your career?
I wouldn't say witnessed, but I know a lot of guys usually it's called like pink pill. It's anti-inflammatory. And you take the pill, and when you're out there on the field, you don't feel nothing, right? Because every game is like a car wreck. It's like you got in 3 or 4 car wrecks. And I know a lot of guys that probably still do that and still do that now. But I was really skeptic on that part. I used to take it. I used to take it too because it would definitely make my body feel better. But I think what was the most that made my body feel better was marijuana and CBD. So once I started, getting introduced to the CBD and how it really helps your body, how the holistic approach really helps you, I kind of stayed away from, the over the counter, the those type of drugs because, once you start and you're used to taking that stuff, and when you stop playing and your body is hurting and things hurting on you, because when you stop playing football, you will have aches, pains, and things of that nature. So I didn't really want to be hooked on. I was scared. I was like, man, I've seen NFL guys, older guys who are hooked on that stuff, like watched it on TV, certain shows. And I'm just like, man, if I could do something that is better for me and is a more holistic approach, that's what I want to do.
No, that's dope. I'm glad you was able to recognize that because that addiction is real. And, most of the times it definitely leads or starts from just that, prescription. So that's why it's such a epidemic within every demographic. So I know you out of the league, you probably can't speak for the league, but do you think the league at some point is going to catch up with CBD and letting you guys or letting those guys use marijuana? Because I know Ricky Williams, like he stopped football because he couldn't indulge. And come to find out years later, there's all these studies that marijuana, CBD, and those things help. So who knows where his career would have been if he was able to uh, go through those. So do you think the league will ever catch up? I know a lot of states are now.
I think they just came out with in the new CBA that you can't get suspended for a failed drug test or for a failed marijuana drug test, I should say. So I think they are definitely moving towards making it more acceptable, for people, I believe. But I'll tell you, the NFL definitely looked out for us just because the way they used to do it was really to our benefit because they knew guys were going to smoke, right? Because some guys use it, for holistic reason, and it really helps them with their body and their aches and their pains, right? So we would have a certain time limit where we would have to be clean, and they would tell us when that time limit would be, and so we would have to be clean in that time limit, and then after the time limit, then we could do what we wanted. But I think they are catching up, honestly, and it's legal everywhere. So they kind of have to catch up with the times because you can't really suspend a guy for that when states prescribe it or sell it to, your average person.
No, yeah, I understand. But I personally hope the league definitely catch up. Because CBD is definitely better than some of those prescriptions that they prescribe, so who knows what'll happen, man.
I'm working with a CBD company right now, and they're it's called Applied Botanics, and they're out of University of Louisville. I mean, not University, but Louisville. And I mean, it's amazing. I use it. So
Nice. So outside of CBD, outside of hanging with family, outside of being in your gym, man, what else are you doing for self-care?
man, that's a great question. If I'm not working out or if I'm not speaking, I'm just pretty much chilling with the fam and just on the weekends, really just trying to spend more time with them. Trying to just really go different places, see different things. I feel like that brings me joy, being able to travel with my family and see different sights and see, just the world in general. And I get massages from time to time, it's self-care wise, but and I also do therapy at least once a month. So I know we talked about that already, but that's pretty much, I'm really simple type guy. I try to keep my peace at a minimum. And, long as I'm at peace when I talk to other people, I can bring that peace in the room and it helps, them. So, if I could just be a vessel, that's all I want to be.
No, I definitely appreciate it. You are being a vessel, like those speaking engagements, your life coaching, even on the physical side, when you got those clients coming through the gym, like you're inspiring, you're empowering different people. So you're doing your part. You're taking all the information that
Trying
you've
to.
learned and transferring it. And you got the two young ones. So, vicariously they're gonna be affected. They're gonna be happy to observe you within the element. One, they gonna already see like what it is to do those self-care things, and they're gonna see that entrepreneurship firsthand. So that's why I'm happy. I'm in a fortunate position because my young ones see the same thing, we
Right.
active, forget all those other stereotypes. We're here, we're breaking those generational curses. So definitely appreciate you. Let people know where they can find you at your next speaking engagement, where your gym is, social media, and all that stuff, man. If people want to reach out.
Well, so my Instagram is moneymark91. I know that's a little weird. My teammate was the first one to call me Money, right? So I just ran with the name. And then Twitter is Marcus Smith II, and my gym is located in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So if you're in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, you want to come through. If your child is, plays sports, or if you want your child to do life coaching with me, if you want them to be helped with their goal setting, their mindset, habit reinflection, value realignment, you can definitely, contact me for life coaching too as well. And speaking engagements, well, we're actually at my gym, we're having a mental health expo that would be held November 20th. So we'll start sending out that stuff soon. So just be, on the lookout on my social media platforms. And if you're in the area, feel free to come.
No, that's awesome. I'll definitely plug the remainder of that information in there to get people in attendance, hopefully. Or, the people just want to reach out, they got questions, because I know a lot of parents might have questions in preparation to get their young ones to the next level, or they just want them to be a little bit more grounded and focused and just
Right.
hear another athlete voice. Sometimes that happens. So listen, I definitely appreciate you. Anything else you need to plug before we roll out?
Man, I don't have anything. I just appreciate the opportunity.
No, I appreciate it. So cool, man. I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, my guy.